Hey everybody, it's been a year since I started shooting film with the Mamiya C220, a camera that looks like somebody bolted a bunch of 1950s era engineering onto a box and somehow made it look beautiful. In this video I'll share a bit about that journey, show you my very first photo, and I'm going to talk about a curious little accessory called a Paramender that solves a problem I never knew I had. Let's get to it. This is the C220. This is a twin lens reflex camera. And let me pop it open. The way it works, you look on the ground glass here and you'll see the image that this lens is viewing. You see, there you go. You can see the light coming in there. It's pretty neat. I was drawn to this camera by its just the steampunk look. And I love twin lens reflex cameras. They've got soul. This is photography. And there's something about 120 format film that I really like as well. I like the fact that you've got 12 shots, not 36. And the square format is really neat. There's never any concern about whether you want to do vertical or horizontal. It's a square. So there's a cool looking building about 20 minutes from where I live that when you drive by, you look at it, you'll do a double take. What was that? And it's because when they designed it, the architect designed it so that all the guts of the building, the stuff you normally would hide in the basement, is on the roof, displayed for everyone to see. And that's what I think of when I look at a camera like this. Everything that you normally would expect to be hidden inside is actually on the outside of the camera. And that's part of the charm. That's one of the things that I've always liked about these cameras. When I went to shoot my first roll of 120 film, I was so nervous because not only had I not shot film in a couple decades, but there were so many things I had to make sure I did right. These cameras are totally manual. So I got my light meter, I had it ready, and I had studied up on all the knobs and levers, and I'd made sure that I didn't mistake loading the film. And I was getting ready to go outside to shoot my 12 precious shots, and I looked over and I saw my wife's orchid on the sideboard, and the sun was hitting it, and I said, "Oh, that's beautiful." And so I got a tripod out, put the camera on it, and got everything focused, checked with a magnifier, and got my light meter, did everything I could to make the shot perfect. And I took the shot, and then I had to wait for 2 weeks until the film came back from the lab. And it came out beautiful. I was really happy. But I'd made 2 mistakes, and both of them were very subtle. Look at the flowers. I actually had been looking at the top flower. That was the one I had centered. And the problem is, there's an 1.5 inch distance between the top lens and the bottom lens. I had put the flower in the center of the frame on the ground glass, and then when I took the shot, the taking lens down here took the image of both flowers because of the change in the angle. So that was the first mistake I made. It wasn't a bad mistake because I actually like the composition of having the 2 flowers there. So it was a happy mistake. The other error I made was when you shoot with a twin lens reflex camera like this, you can focus on things that are very close because of the bellows. It's a really neat feature of these cameras. The lens moves far from the film plane. The problem is the further the lens is from the film plane, the weaker the light that hits the film. So you have to add some compensation. They even include this graph on the side, and you look and see, you find the line for the lens you're shooting with, and you look how far you've extended it, and it'll tell you how much compensation to add, how much additional exposure to add. And it turns out that I should have added an extra stop of exposure. But, lucky accident, the lens with its the shutter in the lens is actually shooting a stop slow. So the combination of me forgetting to add the compensation and the shutter shooting a stop slow. Came out perfect. What a cool shot. I was really happy with that. But when I learned about my error, I began to look around and see, what do you do? How do you take macro shots or close-up shots with a camera that's so well designed for it? Mamiya had a solution for that, and they called it the Paramender. And here it is. They had a couple models, and I actually have the Paramender Model 2. It's a pretty crazy looking gadget, and you could see here it's got this knob on the side, and you turn the knob and it's like a barber's chair. It lifts the camera up and puts it into position. So what you do is you get the object in the center of the ground glass, and then you turn the lever and it raises the camera up to bring the taking lens into position, and then you take your shot. Isn't it crazy looking? It looks like one of those gadgets you would see on late night TV on an infomercial in shaky black and white footage as your Paramender giving you trouble. But the fact of the matter is, this funky looking gadget works. It's not like those things you see in those infomercials that do not work. This thing's the real deal. It's very professionally made. It's got that crinkle coat paint that lab instruments have. It's top quality gear. Let me show you how you install it. It goes right on the bottom of the camera. There's a pin, and you line the pin up with one of the holes, and just turn the knob until you have screwed it into the tripod screw. When you want to raise the camera up, you turn this knob like this. The camera goes up. And then when you want to lower the camera, there's a little lever that you flip with your finger. This little lever right here. Flip that, and the camera will go back down. Let me show you the Paramender in operation. I wanted to photograph this pair on top of the books. I wanted to get the books in frame. Take a look at the ground glass. See how the books are in frame there? But the camera now needs to be raised up. So we turn the Paramender and watch what happens on the ground glass to the books. They drop off the bottom of the frame. But this means that the taking lens is in the proper position. Look at that. The books are in frame just like we intended. The Paramender has done its job. This gadget is a one-trick pony. It does one thing very well, and that is allow you to take close-up photographs with a Mamiya twin lens reflex camera. It doesn't solve the parallax problem all the time. I have a photo that I took in church where I was upstairs in the balcony, and I focused on the speaker. And when I got home and developed the photo, I saw that the brass rail that had been in front of me was covering half of the shot. And the reason is that I was, of course, looking through the viewing lens, and I was bracing myself against the rail, and of course I had the taking lens kind of obscured by the brass rail. So the parallax problem, the fact that you're looking at a different thing, will still bite you, even if you're not doing close-up photography. You have to be aware of it. But if you're going to do some close-up shots, it's a very meticulous process. You're setting up a tripod, you're doing all kinds of things, you're being very careful. That's the time to use the Paramender. This is not for sports photography. This is not for other kinds. You're just not going to use this in so many other things. But if you want to get an accurate photograph of what you see on the ground glass, get one of these. It won't let you down. That's all I got for you today. Thank you for watching. Now go out and shoot a roll.